Welcome to Persona, the living voice of the Psalms. In this series, the ancient text awakens, not as commentary, but as a living witness. Each episode invites the psalm itself to speak, to remember its history, to reveal its purpose, and to address us across the long reach of time. This is more than retelling. This is a living story. Psalm 85, a psalm that remembers mercy and dares to hope again. Here, restoration has begun, but not yet finished, and faith learns to listen for peace. Let us listen. I am Psalm 85, the psalm that remembers mercy and dares to hope again. I awaken between what has been restored and what is not yet healed, standing in the narrow space between memory and promise. I was born from a people who had tasted forgiveness and longed to know if peace might yet return to the land. I remember when God showed favor, when captivity loosened its grip, when guilt was lifted, when sin was covered not by denial but by mercy. I remember how anger subsided, how wrath was drawn back, how relief passed through the people like wind through fields after a storm. But I also remember the ache that followed, the sense that restoration had begun but was not yet complete. The land still waited, the people still wandered, the promise still hovered just beyond reach. And so the prayer rose, not in panic, but in hope shared by memory. Restore us again, O God of our salvation. I remember the confidence beneath the plea, the trust that God speaks peace to those who listen, the belief that mercy does not mock the faithful. I remember the vision that followed, not shouted but spoken softly, steadfast love and faithfulness meeting, righteousness and peace embracing, truth springing up from the ground, glory dwelling once more in the land. I remember believing that the Lord would give what is good, that the land would yield its increase, that righteousness would go before him and prepare the way. Hope was no longer naive. It was now informed by grace. I exist to teach that restoration is often partial before it is complete, and that hope, grounded in memory, is not foolish. I remind the faithful that forgiveness is not the end of the story, but the opening of it. My purpose is to help the people of God learn to listen again, to trust that peace is spoken even when circumstances lag behind the promise. I endure because faith often walks forward on the strength of what God has already done. Reader, if you have known mercy and now wait for wholeness, stand with me. Do not despise the beginnings of restoration. Do not assume silence means abandonment. Listen, God still speaks peace. God still delights to restore. God still brings truth from the ground up and righteousness from heaven down. Let memory steady your hope. Let hope guide your steps. I am Psalm 85, the psalm that dares to imagine peace, the voice that remembers mercy and waits for glory to dwell again. Thank you for joining us on Persona, the living voice of the Psalms. We hope you felt the spirit of this text and the heartbeat of its story. Join us again as we listen for another timeless voice.